Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to Black Knight Gaming. We're here today with a 3-skull priority mission, coming in with another actual storyline mission, the, I guess, excavation at Artru, and we are fielding only a partial lance of our own mechs and pilots. We do have Kamea here as well, which is unfortunately something we can't get rid of, and I say unfortunately because she pilots a Kintaro, which does have some nice firepower, but she's significantly worse than our pilots, and her mech has significantly less armor, and if memory serves, one of the, mission conditions is that she must remain alive, and keep in mind we are playing on Iron Man here, so if she dies, our whole campaign goes out the window, so we will have our first priority being to save Kamea from harm. Now, for those of you who are returning to the channel, you may notice our mech bay is looking a little bit scant. Now, the reason that is because, I passed a black market on the way here, and I sold off our entire lance, pretty much, most of our entire company, aside from the mechs that we are fielding, to buy this Marauder 2R right here and all of the nice goodies that go inside of it. So this is something we will be showing off, hopefully during the next mission, once this priority mission is completed. So yeah, we went back into storage, everything that we've salvaged from this far out, and I think we have maybe, I don't know, a couple tens of thousands additional cash, more than we need for bankruptcy here, so we're running a bit of a risk, but I saw that Marauder 2R and just had to go for it, so hopefully we'll be able to show that mech off in the next mission. But that's a lot of prepositions, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Alright, so here we are, and we have Kamea, leading the way for right now, although that will definitely change. And it's been a while, but I think what this mission does is kind of coming back to me. I won't spoil it for those of you who haven't seen this mission yet, but basically we'll be trying to make sure that Kamea, that she's surrounded at all times by things like our Annihilator, which is entirely meant to take a beating, and the Thunderbolt, which has pretty decent armor for what it is. Hoping to show off some of the improved weaponry and such on our lance. I really truly did just burn all of our resources at that last black market, but you guys will see why, and hopefully it will be worth it. So we have one more kind of ish round before combat starts, which is a little bit unfortunate. Starting and stopping combat is not the most well handled in this game. It can be a little bit aggravating at times. And it is tempting to potentially bring the Thunderbolt over this way, have him focus on these 60-tonner, two 60-tonners, yeah. So I guess I could also come up here and then bring him around. I think this does connect. Kind of hard to tell, so we'll have to give that a try. I just don't want to let Kamea get isolated. So we will be moving her first and moving her up. So the LRM-5 doesn't have great accuracy, but I need to take these heavy drones off of the battlefield quickly. Let's see. So double PPC and an LRM-10 as opposed to the double medium laser and AC-5 that's used by the medium drones. So quite a bit more firepower here, especially with those PPCs, which would decrease our own accuracy on the follow-up turn. So that's one drone down, 5 remaining. And let's see what they do. So the medium drone does fire in, largely missing the Kintaro, but getting in some solid damage, and hopefully we'll be able to now move up the Dragon and the Annihilator, such that that's really the last sort of unnecessary beating, I guess you could call it, that Kamea takes. So we'll move up here, and we'll focus fire on the heavy drone here as well. So yeah, I'm not sure this will be enough, but if we get lucky, so if both of those Ultra AC-5 shells land on the front, or we might need one of the Ultra AC-5s and both of the Ultra AC-2s, and it does scatter just a bit more than I would like, so okay. Structure exposed on the rear arc of that Kintaro, which is exactly the last thing that we want. I swear they must be kind of targeting her a little bit on purpose, so let's go ahead and, we could move up here. I don't have a shot, even if I really try, on that heavy drone, which could be a bit of an issue. So let's wrap the Thunderbolt around this way and have him focus in on this medium drone, hopefully presenting a bit of an obstacle for the other one. And just able to take that drone out. So 4 remaining. I was hoping that the Dragon would have been able to take out that heavy, but even with the improvements we've made to his armaments, switching in a couple ultra autocannons, for what was originally, I think, last campaign we had, well, not campaign, but last episode we just had a single AC5 there. So now we have a bit of a choice. I think what we'll do, we'll use Vigilance, so Archangel will be moving on Initiative 2 next turn, and I think what we'll do is we'll come up, see if we can split our attention, and unfortunately, so I went the route of Ace Pilot, Bulwark, and Sure Footing, just trying to get better survivability for Archangel, and I neglected to take anything like multi-target, which would be really useful right now. We could slam a singular AC-10 shell into this heavy drone and potentially take out the medium drone as well. So that was a bit of a mistake potentially on my part in how these pilots have been training, and I think what we'll do, just to make sure, we'll come in with one of the Ultra AC-10s, one of the Ultra AC-5s. Let's see what that does. So that does destroy that vehicle handily, which unfortunately makes the Dragon a bit of a wasted shot. I think we could have killed him with the Annihilator alone, so we potentially should have fired in at that medium drone, and it looks like there is still one more heavy drone on this side here, firing in at our Thunderbolt and just delivering an absolute beating. So that left leg taking what looks like 2 different PPC shots, and some damage coming in. Well, how did that CT... Okay, so they're doing quite a bit, so let's go ahead and come up this way, and I'd rather fire than punch, only because we have 3 SRM-6s. We are building a little bit of heat, so let's turn off the LRM-5, and if this doesn't kill this drone, I'll be very surprised, and that is enough to do it. So, the rest of the beating that we take, be damned, we've now have Kamea more or less safe, and we can kind of wheel the Thunderbolt around and the Annihilator a little bit around as well to focus fire on these 2. So my hope is, so we can get vision, and that's really all we need. So if we can move up here, we can still fire in at the medium drone with the Thunderbolt, but we should be able to take a shot with the Annihilator on this heavy drone, and that should be enough to kill it as well. So we'll come in now with the Thunderbolt on that medium drone, able to expose the structure, and that vehicle has been destroyed. And now we can come in, so we'll move the Annihilator. I still want to keep him close to Kamea, but let's see what we can do for our accuracy here. So that's about the same. So here's what we'll do. We'll just open up quite a bit of a barrage. We'll use a precision strike, I think, coming in, and the decision we have to make, let's look at the armor. So 50, 30, 33, and 30. I think this should be well more than enough damage to take this thing out, especially because we have a 72% chance to hit the front. So only a couple shells really needed to do that, and we do take out that heavy drone. So alright, so just a couple messages saying we're in a bit of a panic, these drones are not exactly fun to fight, and okay, we have a couple more popping up. So we have Decker still in combat here, and okay, so what do these do? AC-20, AC-20, lots of medium lasers and large lasers, and that goes for both of these turrets. So I think what we'll want to do, so the Kintaro has her rear exposed more to this one turret than I would like. So I think what we'll do is we'll move over and we'll fire in at this turret to try to get rid of that danger to the Kintaro's rear arc. So we are able to take that turret out. Still 3 remaining, making me very, very uncomfortable, especially because they all apparently take a turn here, which is less than expected. That Thunderbolt really just eating a lot of fire. We're going to have to start being careful about losing a leg, which I think has some of our ammunition, so we do have to really be careful with that. And the Kintaro's left side getting chewed through by that laser turret. And if the other one, okay, so that AC-20 shell lands, and Kamea is just taking a royal beating here. So we will try to probably sprint her down and away from this fight. The Annihilator can take this all day. Ironically, our tank of a mech is taking the least damage at the moment, which is exactly the opposite of what we want. Luckily, both those PPCs do miss the Thunderbolt. And we're stretched a little bit thin, which I think is kind of the purpose of having all these threats come in from different places. I'm really regretting not taking multi-target on a heavier mech, because we can't afford to do that on the Shredder turret. I mean, Kamea is already pushing heat pretty badly, and I think the best decision now would actually be to get really good evasion and just kind of sprint away there, because we still have, so our legs are vulnerable, but the CT in the front is still pretty strong. And if we get, well, we can't really hide because of the angle on those two heavy laser turrets, but we can potentially get far enough away that that AC-20 round can't follow us. So we will be sprinting as far away as we can. Potentially a bad decision. It does leave us with instability here, but we'll see. And the SLDF medium drone coming in, firing into the rear arc of the Thunderbolt, which is actually a decent way of scattering the damage around. I mean, if it doesn't break through, we're fine, and his rear armor is holding up pretty well. So we have 2 moves now before they move again, and I really want to try to take out these turrets as quickly as possible. So let's do a quick look at our damage potential here. We have 90 coming in from the Ultra AC5, and this is an Ultra AC2 plus, so we do have 10 additional damage here, so that's 70 coming in for a total of 160, which is barely enough if everything hits to take out that other Shredder turret. So let's go ahead and move slightly, see what the odds are. A precision strike would not actually increase our accuracy, so let's go ahead and save that resolve, and I think I'll want to use it next turn, well, this turn I guess, on the Annihilator to make him move a little bit quicker. Let's see if we can get lucky, land everything, and we do take out that second turret. So 2 turrets remaining. It may actually start being safer up here if the Kintaro is facing than down where we have many of these drones left, but that is what we'll hopefully deal with right now. So we'll come in, we'll move the Thunderbolt up. That's a heavy drone. That's a medium drone, and this is a heavy drone. So do we have enough damage output to chew through that armor? That is full armor, 101 armor on the front of that thing. That is just an absolute tank. So I think we might actually want to move farther away. So we could go up here. We could even go in for melee hit, but that's only 80 damage. The snub PPC alone deals more than that. So I think we will move up a little bit and just come in trying to kill this medium drone with concentrated close range laser fire. So let's see what we can do. That's a lot of orange numbers, and we are able to take out that medium drone. So we have 2 drones remaining, and we have 2 turrets remaining. The first one firing into the dragon, which is what I was hoping for, and we'll see if the second one follows suit. But we do have a turn first. So if that one, so this turret has fired, this turret has not. It looks like it will probably fire on the dragon, which I'm entirely okay with. So I think I'd rather see about getting a shot on one of these heavy drones down here with their dual PPCs. We could try to go to the one that's closer up, right here. Some recoil problems with our Ultra AC-10, as is, I guess, to be kind of expected. Let's see. Can we get... yeah, okay. So we can't get a firing arc on both that easily. We can come... well, yeah, so that'll do it. And I think if we use a precision strike, we should be able to get this done. So let's see. I actually want all of this firing in just to make sure this thing dies in a fire. And we'll come in, so we could get a pretty good chance on the side. Let's see how much that would help us. So that's a lot less armor, but it is a slightly worse hit chance. I think we will go for it. It's not that much worse of a hit chance, and okay, so the Annihilator is still able to pound out just completely brutal amounts of damage, well more than enough to take out that heavy drone, and the other laser turret does fire into the dragon, luckily leaving Kamea a little bit unscathed this round so far, although there is still 1 drone left to move, and it is firing into the Thunderbolt. One of those PPCs landing on the right leg, which is the less damaged leg, but, you know, we're getting down close to half armor on that Thunderbolt, and I'm getting a little bit concerned. So we'll move Kamea back up now with the Kintaro. She's cooled off a little bit, and we can't actually move far enough to get a shot. So I think instead we'll just reserve her right now. She has 5 evasion pips, that's pretty good, and we'll move the Thunderbolt up. Only able to fire the large laser, only able to fire the large. We could actually see about using the 2 of them to take out this heavy drone. So using the Thunderbolt and Kamea and the Kintaro focusing fire on this heavy drone might be enough to kill it. So let's see about doing that. And we'll use the Annihilator and the Dragon to pound through. Oh, alright. So the Thunderbolt manages on its own. That snub PPC really just coming in clutch. And I think we will move Kamea. Well, no. Let's just reserve. Let the Dragon take another shot before moving and getting those evasion pips back. And potentially we can go ahead and use this time to take out one of those turrets with the Annihilator. So, yeah, wonderful accuracy. overwhelming firepower, and we still have a fair amount of ammunition left, so I'm not really concerned on that front. We could turn off one of the Ultra AC5s just to save a little bit of damage output. I mean, each one of these deals 144. You know what, let's turn off one of the Ultra AC10s and fire in, just make sure we have enough, and that is enough to take out that turret. So now there's only this one heavy turret left, so we'll go ahead and we'll move the dragon into the objective zone. So we match that objective right there, and now we can fire in this heavy laser turret. Not able to get through it, which is kind of what I expected, and Kamea with just the LRM-5 wouldn't be able to really do anything, so we will just sprint her up, maintain good evasion on the mech that cannot die, or we risk having to end this campaign playthrough a little bit early. And now we can fire in, just opening up with everything on that Kintaro and taking out that last turret. Okay, so it looks like something else is happening in the story. Okay, so our engineer is struggling a little bit, and those are more drones, so we have to hold out for 3 rounds. I don't know if that means that they'll spawn more if we kill them all. Seems likely that is the case. So let's see if we can get good evasion with the Kintaro, and this is a heavy drone, so it's moving on initiative 1. Let's see, there's a medium, there's a heavy, there's a heavy, and there's a heavy. So our 2 mediums are right here. They will be moving next phase. I want to get this Thunderbolt out of there because the CT now pretty exposed, and we have lots of goodies in this Thunderbolt that we sold our entire company to get. So the last thing I want to do is lose that mech now. I mean, if we only have 4 functional mechs, right, which is risky in the first place. And I have no reserves either, so if we lose or even take significant damage on one of our mechs, we're in a bit of trouble here. So the Thunderbolt taking a little bit of light damage and will probably be our next priority, so we could move the Thunderbolt right now actually, and that would not be the worst thing ever. We'd still leave the other medium with a chance to move, unless I can kill it. I want the Annihilator to go first, because right now his back is exposed to all of these heavy drones, and that is definitely less than ideal. So I think we will be sprinting the Thunderbolt up, basically creating a bit of a Helm's Deep in this pass here, having everything hopefully shoot in to the Annihilator's front armor rather than his rear armor, which right now we're taking a bit of fire on that rear arc, which I guess if it doesn't get through will save us some damage on the front. It's one way of looking at it anyway. And the SLDF heavy drone is still alive. Let's see if we can fix that. Only 12 armor remaining on that front, and just because I want some good clustering, we will come in here with a precision strike, able to take that drone out. So there's 5 left on the board. We have to hold out for 3 more rounds. And, you know, we will take significant damage if we aren't able to take some of these drones off the board completely. So let's see. The Annihilator's turn, and I think what we'll do is we'll move up a little bit, and we'll turn around, and I don't really have a shot on either of the heavies, but that's fine. So we can use one of the AC-10s, one of the AC-5s, fire into this medium drone. Should be enough to kill it, and it is. So one of those medium drones is down. There's only 4 left, although 3 of them are heavy drones, which is actually kind of okay for us. While they're at longer ranges, they only have the 1 LRM that they can fire in with. Not really the end of the world. I'm really more scared about those double PPCs, but they need a direct line of sight for that sort of firepower. So we survived that 1 round pretty well. And now it's Kamea's turn, and I see no reason to move her because she's well out of the range of fire there. The Annihilator coming in, taking some scattered medium laser and missile hits across the front. But again, compared to the Thunderbolt especially, the armor on the Annihilator is holding firm. So if we come in and take a look at the Thunderbolt, 41 armor on that CT, 34 on the left leg. I do want him facing front though, so we have so much nice evasion. I wonder if we can move Decker up. Pretty good shot actually on that medium drone. May not be enough to kill it. These are, well, I guess smaller caliber guns than on the Annihilator, and it's not quite because we do scatter. It would have been if we'd used a precision strike and gotten some better clustering, potentially, but maybe now we'll actually find a use for that LRM-5. So if we get lucky here, that LRM-5 could take out that medium drone, and I know. Using a precision strike on an LRM-5 is just kind of pathetic, but I do need a couple rounds to hit. Well, a couple of missiles, I guess, to hit in order to take that thing out, and we're just not able to do it. So let's see. 6 structure remaining, only one of the LRMs landing, despite each one having a 50% chance. A little bit disappointing, I'll be honest, but now we can move up here. Well, do we want to? Okay, maybe the better answer is to move the Thunderbolt around the side of that Annihilator and just finish off this medium drone properly. So that drone is gone, there's 3 remaining, and the Annihilator is healthy enough to take that beating pretty well, I think. So I'd be surprised if we're in much trouble now, especially because we do have a chance to move, and we don't have any... Yeah, we don't have evasion at the moment, so we don't lose anything by moving a little bit early. And coming down, well, I don't want to risk exposing the side to this other drone, that's why I didn't go down the center, but we can come in here and fire into that heavy drone. Maybe we... yeah, okay. So I was wondering if we got a little bit lucky last round with being able to rip through that drone's armor with just those 2 guns online, even though it is more like 4 guns online, given that each fires 2 shots, but still... the Annihilator's damage bonus to autocannons is showing its worth here. Each one of those Ultra AC-10s dealing 72 per shot instead of 60, which is quite nice. Really just kind of makes it a bit incredible. You can stack that with some of the larger AC-20s and get 144 damage per hit, which is just absolutely incredible. So we will move up the Kintaro now because there are only 2 threats remaining. And we'll open up with everything on that SLDF heavy drone. We'll probably need to come in and finish it off with something else. And yeah, so structure exposed but not dead. So I think we'll move up, well, I guess the Dragon. Let's see if we can have him finish this mech off. Only 3 rounds left on the Ultra AC-5, which is a bit concerning. I don't remember if we have another engagement, but that was enough damage to take that mech out. The Ultra AC-2 is not the worst thing to be stuck with, but we might need to put some more AC-5 ammunition on that mech. So for right now we'll reserve. I don't want the Thunderbolt moving up enough to take that round, and he does anyway. Wow, okay, so... okay, we lost one of the goodies that I got from that black market, a double heatsink kit that I spent about, I want to say, 600,000 C-bills on, so this mission had better make itself worth it after that. And I think we'll just move down here, add insult to injury if we can, and, well, overwhelming firepower. Let's take this thing out. It deserves to die after ripping through the armor on that Thunderbolt. Enemy contacts. Okay, so it spawned more, but we survived long enough. Okay. And it looks like this is maybe one of those missions we would have been punished if we had done better. I'll elaborate once we get to the mission reward screen. Alright everyone, so we're back, and my apologies, I had meant to catch this at the mission reward screen, but slight hiccup there with the recording software. Then it turns out this is actually a consecutive deployment mission where we come back in with SLDF mechs defending against a Taurian attack. So because all of our mechs are rather heavy, we actually took quite a beating to open up this this mission. And let's see, I don't even know what pilots we have, what mechs we have. This is, I guess, an SLDF Griffin, an SLDF variant Black Knight, Highlander, and Atlas II. So something else is moving on Initiative 3, that's the Shadowhawk. And because of that, what we'll be doing is moving up the Griffin to the side here, and even though we could come in with good damage on the Firestarter, Commando, or Jenner, we will just be firing into the Shadowhawk, trying to take some of its armaments off the board before it has time to move, and we do actually pop that leg. So that Shadowhawk is downed, and won't be moving until, well, at least Initiative 2, maybe 1, so, well, let's see. Yep, we move to 2, and it is our turn, which is nice. I guess this is probably a medium mech coming up as well. So the Black Knight now can come in, and, well, I hesitate to move him up too far because I really don't want to expose a rear arc to any of these lighter mechs. They can still do quite a bit of damage if given the opportunity, which we want to deny them, but I want to try to finish off the Shadowhawk before it has a chance to move. So let's go ahead and come in here. Not great chances to hit that leg. So let's instead go for the CT, only 22 armor, 90 internal structure on that CT, and we're firing lots of energy weaponry here from this SLDF Black Knight. By the way, one of my favorite mechs, and the mech that the channel itself is named after. Although it is a later variant, so you know, BL7 KNT as opposed to this is the BL6 B KNT. It's the Griffin taking some light LRM fire. Probably means there's a heavy mech over in this direction as well, which means that we definitely need to chew through these smaller mechs as quickly as possible. So the Atlas 2 has an AC-20, 2 ER larges, 2 medium pulses, SRM-6, and an LRM-20. Let's see if we can get a nice rear arc shot into one of these mechs. So the Commando has the least, well, the Commando has the least evasion, but we don't have a good angle on its rear arc. What we could do is move over this way, get a nice side shot with everything other than the LRM-20, kind of ignore the fire starter for now, which is a bit risky, but I think we'll be fine. So Kamea coming in with that Atlas 2, landing the AC-20 shot, which we desperately needed, and that is enough to take out that Commando in one go. And something you wouldn't have seen is right when this mission starts, and the Taurians realize that we have SLDF era mechs, they basically say, "Oh shit, we need backup." So we have them quite scared here, and I think what we want to do. So the Gauss rifle is a wonderful tool, but it's a long-range tool, and these medium lasers aren't that great for close quarters combat. So what I'm thinking of doing is actually meleeing with the Highlander, 112 damage if we can land it, and we can come in here and try to cripple this fire starter. We do actually destroy it entirely, so 3 out of 4 mechs down on turn 1, just showing off how terrifying an SLDF lance can be. The Jenner's still moving up, getting a rear, well no, it looks like a side and partial rear angle shot on the Highlander, which is taking quite a bit more damage than I'm comfortable with. The nice thing is, though, because that mech has a Gauss rifle, we are looking to keep it further back anyway. So not the end of the world there, and we can move up the Black Knight, the Atlas, even the Griffin a little bit before we move up the Highlander. So let's get a nice shot here. Do we have better accuracy farther back? Is that what it is? Because this is an ER PPC. No, so that is worse. Let's just try to move up. Well, I guess that'll do. And fire in at this Jenner. I want to clean up our back lines before we risk tangling with the other mechs down near the dropship. So let's see, at least 3, probably a full lance here. That is just a Jenner, but you know, there's 2 more behind it, and at least one of those is a heavy. So we do need to be careful, and I think we'll come up just a little bit on this side and come in with a precision strike on that Jenner. Great accuracy, and let's see, 2% to hit the head, so let's instead go for this left torso, hoping the extra damage after we knock that arm off will go right in the CT, and it does, and we do take out that Jenner in one go with the SLDF Black Knight. Really living up to its name there, and that looks like it was from behind that 3rd sensor dot, so this probably is a full lance. I think we did see the Leopard come in right as the mission started, and we have to go through it to get to evac. We have to go through it, and I think we may even have potential plot twists over here. Well, without giving anything away. So let's bring up the Highlander, and we could. So do we have great called shots here? No, we don't. So let's just do a regular normal attack. Great accuracy with the Gauss rifle, hopefully, so should be able to put a decent pounding on this Jenner. Left arm destroyed, those missiles coming in and destroying the torso. Also getting a pilot injury from that torso destruction, but that Jenner is still alive, hanging in there with 50 points on the CT. So let's move up Kamea, put the Atlas, I guess, in the first line, which is a bit risky because we have to keep Kamea alive above everything else. And okay, so those were vehicles potentially firing those LRMs earlier. We only have 9 more rounds with the AC-20, so because I don't think we necessarily need it, I'm going to turn that off, trade it out for the LRM-20, and come in firing everything but that largest gun at the Jenner, easily able to take this mech out. So now they've lost visual. So have we, but they move first. So the Panther comes up, regains visual, unfortunately, and does land a PPC on the Atlas. So, you know, sensors are down, that'll make our next shot a little bit harder, but I think what we'll want to do is, well, yeah, so let's move up the Griffin, get some good evasion here, and come in shooting at this Panther. It's a bit extreme range for the SRM-6s, but I think if we use a precision strike, yeah, okay, so excellent accuracy with the ERPPC, decent with the SRMs, and my goal here is just partially to slow it down. Not great to hit the CT or the head. Let's instead aim for that left leg. So almost 50% chance to hit. And we rip it open, but we don't knock that mech down, which is unfortunate. Looks like an AC-10 shell landing in on the Atlas, and we'll have to keep a good rotation going, so the Black Knight might have to take point after a little bit of time. Enforcers, some of my favorite medium mechs, and we've made good use of them before. So let's see. Okay, so if we come up here, pretty extreme range, but we should be able to fire in on that Panther, concentrate our fire a little bit, see if we can take this thing down, and because we're not firing all of these medium lasers, we do have a bit of a chance to cool off with this Black Knight before the next round. So if even one shot hits that leg, we're golden. So let's actually go ahead and take an aimed strike there. Only 18% chance to hit, but it's better than we had without it, and we aren't able to take out that leg, instead taking out the left torso and left arm on that side. So, not great. Could have gone better, that's for sure. But we are chewing through the secondary lance decently well. One mech down, 2 mechs, 2 vehicles remaining between us and potentially our freedom. So let's see what we can do here with Kamea. I think it's tempting to use Vigilance here, get that Atlas moving at Initiative 2, and we'll come down so that we do partially obstruct the line of sight to this last vehicle, Scorpion, AC-5, and an MG, so not exactly the lightest armament. And now we have a bit of a choice. We can fire in at the Panther, we also have the Highlander coming as well, or we could fire in at the Enforcer, and I think we'll take the better shot on that Panther. We will fire in with the AC-20 as well, potentially turning off those SRMs just to save a bit of ammunition, and we don't have the best hit chance anyway, so let's do that, and that AC-20 shell is able to make the rest of that armament just kind of superfluous. So now we have the Highlander, and he has still taken a bit of a beating, so I will kind of keep him back a little bit, that left side especially. Just getting lit up in the first couple rounds of the fight. So we'll face that our right side is toward the potential incoming enemy fire, and our best shot by far is on this Enforcer. So let's go ahead and take it. The Gauss rifle does internal damage regardless of what it hits. So some internal damage there. We actually get a head hit, but not enough to head cap that mech, and the Atlas taking another shell, but this time luckily having some pretty good damage reduction, although we are unfortunately on rough terrain, which does make things a little bit more risky. So I'll move the Griffin up, in part because I don't really care if this guy dies. He's not one of our pilots, and he does have a nice shot here on the Scorpion, so let's see. It's a lot of frontal armor. I'm not really confident we can get through it and still take out the structure below, but well, let's give it a try. Missiles are great at crit seeking, and we are able to destroy that vehicle there. So only 1 vehicle and 1 mech now remaining. Okay, something coming up. Oh, so maybe we get some help? No. Okay, so they've blown up the cache. So what the Taurians were potentially getting is now gone. It seems like a bit of a, well, yeah, I kind of agree with Kamea here. Destroying an SLDF cache is a little bit precipitous. It's kind of how this stuff became lost in the first place, is everyone blowing things up before thinking. So not sure I'm happy with Yang. After all, if we had held this position, which I guess from the story is untenable, so not really an option there, but if we had held this, we could have just gotten lots of cheap SLDF mechs, and I'm all for that. I mean, that sounds pretty great to me. Vehicle destroyed just now. This one Enforcer here, the focus of an entire lance of juiced up SLDF mechs, and we will be moving the Atlas 2 down, coming in I think with precision strike here on the Enforcer, just trying to core it out, nothing fancy, and instead landing on that looks like right arm, but that Enforcer has seen better days. This should be a knockdown, and it is, and now that it's knocked and moving much later in the next round, this mech is effectively dead. I mean, we still have the Highlander even in this round, and pushing the minimum range on that Gauss rifle, which is not great, but we have 14 shots. Let's just go ahead and take it. So Let's just make sure this mech is dead. And it is, so we only have 2 objectives left. Kamea must survive and proceed to dropship. So we should fall out of combat, and let's see what happens if we come over here toward our objective. Yeah, pretty good combat. I gotta say, they do a nice job of showing just how much stronger these mechs are. And, okay. So, this dude on the left, quite angry. And I think what's going to happen is we're going to lose our way out at the end of this round, and there it is. So, yep, what looks like artillery or some sort of mortar shell coming in, hitting that leopard and denying us our evac. Well, okay, so I think, if memory serves, that rather angry Taurian fellow was gravely impacted by our decision to destroy the nuke range a couple of missions earlier. So let's go ahead and see if we can sprint out of here as quickly as possible. There are enemy contacts, and we go back into combat. Unfortunately, this is why it's a little bit clunky with how they've designed the entering and exiting combat system. We moved up just the Griffin. We still had all these mechs remaining to move, and now the Griffin gets to go first. So it's a couple of different movements at full tilt, full sprint, ahead of the rest of the lance, which is not conducive to keeping good order and having proper fire support and proper tactics and things like that. So we will just reserve. That looks like there's at least 1 heavy vehicle or potentially assault mech waiting for us over there. So I definitely don't want the Griffin to go in alone. As soon as we get visual contact, if they have lots of missiles, they will be firing in. So I'm okay with Kamea coming up last here, although the AC-20 is a close-range gun. And now I guess we may as well establish visual with the Vindicator here, with the beginnings of these enemy lances. We could always move on turn 3 next round to get rid of that, and I think we'll actually Vigilance. So this Griffin will be moving now on Initiative 2, and we can come in, take a shot, and then we can move on Initiative 2 back out of their line of sight, which is kind of, it's a bit gamey, but it's kind of hilarious too. So we will move at a sprint, come up here, and just make sure that we are hopefully denying a visual to any of these mechs, and we do. So we came in, we fired at them, we retreated back, and now they can't fire at us until they reestablish. So sensor lock coming down, and they do now have, from that sensor lock, I think at least, I think it guarantees a visual. Maybe I could be wrong there, but let's see. Well, that's the only shot we have, the Black Knight, but I do want him moving up. Let's actually move up at a sprint, get good evasion, get in a range where we can open up with all of our guns next round, and there's still something big hiding over that way, which is making me a little bit nervous. Let's move also the Atlas 2 up at a sprint. Let's let whatever is over here and potentially an assault mech move up first. So, okay, so maybe two assault mechs? That's a tall order for us to get through, but I guess let's see. So we have an LRM-20, so we'll take the indirect shot with the Highlander on that Vindicator, just coming in with 20 long-range missiles, basically for free. We do pound in a lot of stability damage on that mech, and unfortunately the Griffin taking some fire. Now again, if everything else dies but Kamea survives, that's okay. But we now need to move, because in 2 turns, where most of our lance is standing is going to be hit by artillery. They're basically chasing us to the objective, it seems like. So the slow and steady pace that I'd hoped to keep is maybe a little bit ill-advised. So let's go ahead and move down here. Let's get a good shot on, well, vision on this mech. That is a Battlemaster. And good vision on the Vindicator as well. Let's go ahead and take a precision strike, slow this mech down, hopefully able to either take out a leg or, through successive large amounts of fire, get a knockdown on this mech. And that looks like it's just enough. So we do knock that mech over, and that should make it a bit of an easy kill from here. So the first assault mech to round the hill basically should be able to take that thing out. Although, is that, well, looks like either a Griffin or a Wolverine. Yeah, Griffin. Kind of in the way, so let's see. Black Knight does have a nice shot on the Vindicator, has a nice shot on the Griffin. Could start opening up on the Battlemaster here, but I think that weaponry is better used just kind of clearing the board a little bit. And because, well, so if we don't shoot at the Vindicator now, it will be their first movement next turn. I guarantee it. The AI always stands things up before they do anything else. So let's just go ahead and aim, take that 50% hit chance in at that CT there, see if we can take this mech off the board. not quite enough to do it. That really sucks. Maybe we should have fired in the Griffin instead. We are getting a little bit worn down here, and we are on a timer, so we might actually have to just kind of push through and around these mechs if we aren't able to take them out quickly enough. The Black Knight, still pretty healthy, so I'm comfortable with having that Black Knight lead the way, but we need to get out of this location here, and we need to take a good shot, so we can't afford to really sprint out of here because we need to take a shot. Let's see how far Kamea can move. So, okay, so what we don't shoot at with the Highlander, we can shoot at with Kamea, although they both need to be... Alright, so we'll move Kamea first, because I think the Highlander would actually block her line of sight. So let's come in shooting at the Vindicator, and I don't want to do a precision strike. I want to save that accuracy bonus from having high morale, I guess, for the Highlander's Gauss rifle. So unfortunately not able to kill that mech, and now we're moving up. So there's an Awesome, there's a Zeus, there's a Battlemaster. This is quite a mission to do with borrowed mechs and borrowed pilots. Let's see what we make of it. So now we'll come in with a precision strike, and the Vindicator is so damaged, I don't want to waste all of this armament on it. So let's instead come in shooting at this Griffin, and hoping for a head cap is maybe a little bit ambitious. Only 2% chance to hit, and the medium lasers wouldn't even do it. So let's just go in for that CT, see if we can just concentrate fire there, take this mech out as quickly as possible. Structure exposed, head hit, so maybe if we had gone for it we could have gotten it, but you know, never sure. And the Black Knight taking an absolute pounding. So 4v5, we're already coming in damaged, they're not. 3 assault mechs against, what, I think 2 a heavy and a medium. We are outgunned and kind of outmatched here. So I think what we might have to do is accept the fact that we can't finish this mission as given, and just do our best to get Lady Arano out of here in time. So we'll move up the Griffin, and we have a choice. We can fire in at their Griffin. 45 on that CT is not very much, but it's not moving until, well, is that moving at 2 or 1? It's hard to tell. Let's see. I can't tell. So, well, actually, these are all moving at 3, well, at 1 rather, so this is moving at 2. Or coming into that Vindicator, which is mostly dead. We do have multi-target, so let's see what we can do with that. Let's do a multi-target here, and the risk here is that we don't kill either one. But let's shoot one SRM-6 at the Vindicator, the PPC and the SRM-6 at the Griffin, and hope we get lucky. So we don't get lucky with a kill, but we do get a knockdown, actually on both mechs, because that right leg destruction will knock over the Vindicator again. I'm hoping that'll be enough wounds that we take that pilot out, but it might not be, and yeah, nope, that mech is still up. So thankfully they are using their movement to pick that mech back up, and I think it might be in our best interest now to basically ignore that Vindicator for the rest of this round. It does pound into the Black Knight, which is very unfortunate, but our next shot could go in at the Griffin and have a very high chance to kill. So our Black Knight CT taking an absolute pounding, we do need to rotate him away, and it's hard to do that while maintaining a good shot on the Griffin. So, well, because the Vindicator is actually blocking our line of sight, which is just kind of hilarious, very unfortunate. I think what we will do is we'll vigilance this mech so that it's moving a little bit quicker next turn if it's still alive, and we'll bring him back a little bit and then open fire on this Griffin, hoping to just core it out completely, make this a 4v4. And we do manage it, just barely managing to take out that mech. So now it's a 4v4, 3 assaults against, well, 2 assaults, a heavy and a medium, but you know, their medium is nearly dead, this Vindicator here, and our Black Knight, if it can survive for a couple more rounds, punches like an assault mech, because it is SLDF, so it punches like a non-SLDF assault mech. I think what we want to do now, so the Zeus hasn't moved yet, we probably won't be able to take any of its armament really out of commission with this shot, but we might be able to if we get lucky, and yeah, there's no sense firing at something that hasn't shot yet, so we unfortunately miss what was either a 90 or 95% chance to hit Gauss rifle shot, and that Gauss rifle shot might have even knocked this mech over. Our Black Knight taking an absolute beating, kind of justifying, in my opinion, our decision to use vigilance, because even the Vindicator could potentially deal just horrific damage to that mech now, and well, okay, so maybe not, because we'll come up here. I do want to fire that AC-20. We don't really have enough damage to mean anything on this Awesome, so let's just go ahead and kill this Vindicator, making it 4v3, and we might be able to chew through this Lance after all, although it won't be pretty by any stretch. So we've moved out of range of the artillery just barely, and we will have to move quickly to make sure that we stay out of range of that artillery as it creeps up. I mean, that fire almost hitting the back of Kamea's mech, which would have ended this mission and ended the campaign. And it doesn't look like there's any more. Maybe it was just to get us uncomfortably close to this Lance, and now I think the right decision is we need to move this Black Knight somewhere it can shoot but not be shot at. So we have two choices. We have around this left-hand side, not able to really get up on this spar here, or around the right and deny access to this Awesome. So let's see what the Battlemaster has. Lots of medium lasers. Awesome actually shoots the fewest number of projectiles here, it looks like. Battlemaster is really the main threat. So, well, I guess if we know the Battlemaster is the main threat, then let's go ahead and move around to the side and start shooting it. So, not the best. Yeah, okay, so we can open up fire with everything. We could have better accuracy, but we have enough resolve. We should be able to deal either 1 or 2 precision strikes this round. So, it might be worth aiming at the head. Or actually, I think, let's see if it has a right side bias. So there's a PPC. Let's see. Lots of medium lasers. Okay, so that's the choice. We'll come in gunning for that right torso. And that's a lot of right arm, a lot of right torso. The idea being, even if we can't kill it, maybe we can make it less effective. So half the armor gone on that Battlemaster's right torso, and the Griffin, it's tempting to move him up almost sacrificially. So we'll really push him forward. He has some evasion, he has some armor. It's a big risk, but it's a calculated risk to save the mechs that have more firepower than it does. It's a distraction away from that Black Knight, hopefully, which does take a pounding right to the CT from a PPC, and this Black Knight might not be long for this world. I mean, its CT has to be hanging on just by a thread. Highlander also taking a PPC shot as well, and the Griffin managing to dodge, so he's just, that Awesome was just spreading the love a little bit. Although, you know, it's one of those times, if you just keep it to itself, nobody really wants that at the moment. So the Highlander, having a bit more of a long-range armament, will move up around closer to this Black Knight, which if we take a peek, yeah, 11 structure remaining on that CT is just pathetic. So we will use our second precision strike, because if we don't take guns off the field now, that Black Knight is dead, potentially this round, certainly next round. The Highlander soaking a little bit of damage, and if we can move up Kamea, maybe we can distract just enough to keep that Black Knight barely alive. This is why it pained me so much to see that first round of combat, all the damage that was done to these mechs before we even had a chance to respond. And we aren't able, unfortunately, to get a good shot, a direct shot in at the Battlemaster, which, you know, it's quite vulnerable right now on that right torso. So I guess we'll have to come in and shoot at the Awesome here. The Zeus is yet to move, but we don't have a direct line of fire on it either. So even though I do like to fire at things that haven't moved, we'll deal with what we can. And Kamea just, we've had 2 big misses. We've missed with the Gauss rifle, we've missed with the AC-20, and both of those hurt. So we've lost our Black Knight. It's 3v3, but they definitely outweigh us by a significant margin. So let's see what we can do here with the Griffin. Man, maybe we should have used Vigilance last turn, but we're chewing through Resolve really just too quickly. I think the choice might be, yeah, so we'll move up here, potentially expose our rear, but we need to kill some of the armament on this Battlemaster now. So we'll open up fire at the PPC with the SRM-6s. We do get a head hit, which is nice. It's not enough, and the Awesome now coming in, just punishing our Highlander. And I'm getting a little bit concerned that we might lose all of our remaining escorts for Lady Arano before we get to the objective. So the Battlemaster hasn't moved, and I think what we need to do here now is move up Kamea, fire in, using some resolve here for precision strike, and we need to either core this mech out or take out that torso. And there's a, oh man, this is a big choice. I think let's aim for the torso. Any extra damage will travel, and we land that AC 20 shell there, ripping off that Battlemaster's right arm. It's now lost its PPC, it's lost a good portion of its armament, coming in for a punch now. Oh, you're kidding me. Okay, if that was exposed CT on that Atlas, we're in big trouble. MG is also crit seeking on that mech. If that was CT, we now have to run, and it's a leg, which also really sucks because we have 4 heat sinks in this leg. That's a lot of our ability to keep up sustained fire. Oh man, so the Zeus hasn't moved. These guys are physically blocking our path to the objective now. Wow, okay, this is quite a difficult choice here. I think what we want to do is, well, man, our accuracy is just abysmal. This is a bad choice. Nothing here is good. So what I want to do is I want to see, oh, you're kidding me. So the Battlemaster that exposed our leg had two structure remaining on its CT. So we're going to Vigilance this Highlander, get it to move at initiative 2 next turn, and we're going to come in here and just try to kill the Battlemaster right here and now. So let's see if we can do it. We have a lot of missiles. We missed with that Gauss rifle. It was at minimum range, so that's not really surprising. And we've kind of evened the odds again, right? So the Awesome and the Zeus really aren't that damaged. But, you know, we have 2 assault mechs and a medium. We're still doing okay. Highlander's left arm taking quite a beating and potentially losing that SRM-6, but I'm less concerned about that than I would be about losing the right arm, which has the Gauss rifle, and we still have some structure, not much left on our CT. So now I think it's time to show off the benefits of good mobility. So again, I really don't care too much about risking this Griffin. I care far more about getting a shot on the rear arc of this Awesome. So let's see. That's quite a bit of armor, but if we, well, so we could precision strike now, but that would potentially decrease our accuracy with everything else this turn. They don't really have that much evasion. It could be not much of an issue, but we have a lot more firepower coming in from Kamea, so it may not be worth it. Let's just take a rear arc shot here, see what we can get with it. That's some good damage. So the Awesome, well, unfortunately that rear center torso is still surviving, but the rear right torso did take quite a beating, and I think that means we should focus our fire with the other 2 mechs on the Zeus. Let that Griffin just enjoy the next turn as well if it can in that Awesome's rear arc, while we try to focus fire on the Zeus and bring it down with our Atlas and our Highlander. So left arm destroyed, that might be a knockdown on that Zeus, which would just be amazing, and it's not, unfortunately. So the Atlas taking some punishment. Fortunately, our leg is holding on, and let's see what we can do here. So we'll move up, man, so moving up that far risks exposing our rear arc to this Awesome as well. We will Vigilance, so that Kamea moves on turn 2 to give it potentially only 1 shot, but I don't want that thing having the ability to swing on us in our rear arc. So we will move up kind of to the side here. Yeah, that'll do. It's not perfect. It still could move up around this way, but it is more difficult than moving just straight past it here. And let's see what we can do. So AC-20 shell. Unfortunately, finding the, I think, undamaged previously right arms. We destroy the left torso. That will be a knockdown. But let's see what we can do. Okay, so the Awesome did come in, coming in at the Atlas 2 there, which is exactly what I wanted to avoid, but not dealing enough damage to make it really... Okay, open the CT. Never mind. Everything I just said about not doing enough damage to make it worrisome just got thrown out the window there. But we should be able to come in here with the Griffin, and I just want this mech dead at this point, so we'll fire in at that right side, ripping off that arm completely, destroying a large amount of this mech's armament. So let's see, it should only have maybe 1, yep, so 1 partially critted PPC left, lots of damage on that rear arc, and fortunately now it's mostly not even a threat anymore other than its punches. So we'll move Kamea up to this side, and let's see, this Zeus, 35 on that CT, this should be more than enough to kill it. So let's go ahead and see if we can take this mech out. We do. So now it's just the 1 left. If it can destroy Kamea this round, I will cry, but it shouldn't be able to. Let's see here. Okay, so it is opening fire on the Highlander, which is just fine for us. Basically a wasted turn, and it looks like we will be able to dig our way out of this scrap somehow. It was brutal, it was bloody, it was not clean at all, but man, hopefully we should be fine. That awesome surviving an entire volley from the Highlander on that already mostly damaged side is just kind of impressive. So let's see, we could punch with the Griffin. I want those crit-seeking SRMs. I am curious. 92 structure remaining. This is one tough mech, so let's go ahead and use a precision strike. No, horrible accuracy. 9% chance to hit the CT. We'll probably end up blowing off a leg here by the look of it. Head hit. Well, we can't even get the leg down. That awesome is still alive, really living up to its name. Does miss with PPC. Does look like it lands with a small laser. But I'm not really concerned at this point, so let's go ahead and move Kamea closer to that objective. Still able to take a bit of a shot here at the rear arc of that awesome. Coming in with everything we've got, and that AC-20 to the back does take that mech out. So now we just have to get to that evac objective, and yeah, it should be good. So we've fallen out of combat. We just need to get our three mechs, our three surviving, barely surviving mechs here. I'm really sad about losing the Black Knight. I feel like that might be a bit of a metaphor since the channel is named after it, but let's hope not. So we do get all three mechs into that end objective, and much as I'd like to show the salvage screen and all that, since this is a priority mission, there's going to be a lot of exposition and talking and all that, so thank you guys for sticking around. We do have a couple surprises for you in the next episode as well. We'll be able to show off that new Marauder, and yeah, we'll be back real soon. If you like this content, please don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe, and yeah, we'll have the next episode out in a day or two.